So that, my friends, is pretty dangerous. Hey friends, we are looking at the Max Hummer. This is by a company called Keep My Specialty. It's their set number JD126 with 2058 pieces. It's a 2-in-1, or on this it says 1-to-2, military Humvee. So it has this kind of Mad Max inspired version, and it has the basic version, and you could build either. I want to thank my buddy Devin for building this for me. I really appreciate it. And I told him build the Mad Max version for sure. So in this video, we're going to take a deep dive. We'll take a look at the features on it. It has some play features, some motion features. It has a firing feature. And then because this is Monster Brick Reviews, I'm going to add a motor, and we'll see what happens when you add a motor to it. Okay, so let's get started. First thing we'll look at is the firing features. Up here, it's got these different barrels, and you just build the barrels using barrel pieces with the top and the bottom. You load them in right there, and then there is this firing mechanism. So you pull back on this rubber band like that, and then it should fire. Let's push this back a little bit. Maybe it was in the wrong position. So you pull back, bam, one of them went. And it's supposed to load the next one in. It didn't quite go in the right place. Let's try again. Almost. One more time. Bam. Okay, so that one went straight forward. And they don't quite load into the right spot. There we go. All right, so that's all four of them fired off. The other thing it can do is it has this wrecking ball along the back. And you can see it has this really terrific build for this. And because it kept falling down, I added my own pin right here. So I'm going to take that pin out, and you can see it then is open freely to kind of go down like that. And so you can swing this around, good defensive or even offensive if you're a really good driver. But you can then turn this to get it all the way back up. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a way to keep it up, so that's why I added my own pin right here. You put it in the bottom, and then it keeps it from falling, so I've done that. It has a spare tire. These are all rubber tires. This one kind of gently moves, and this cannot move at all. I think it's in a fixed position just right there. It's got doors. The doors can open, but these particular bars are in the way. So let's pull that. Let's see if we can actually open it. See if we have some luck there. So yeah, so you can kind of gingerly open it. Let's get that side view mirror there. So yeah, that one opens up just like that. Not really an interior to speak of. There is some additional gearing there for the steering. I think that's where you hook up a servo. If you watched my unboxing video, you'll see just all the parts, and you'll get a better look at the instructions. It's made to be built in a static version or a dynamic version. This is, of course, the static version. In the dynamic version, you can add motors and potentially even create a remote control version of it. All right, so that's kind of how much you can get those doors open. We'll put them back. Oh, I love this shaping here too. A very almost like a jerry can design there. Okay, and then up in the front here, you've got this ginormous, I don't know what this is, a blower? Is that what that is? So supercharger mounted up here, and then the exhaust just goes straight out here, and I'm sure this is super, super loud when it's running. You've got these incredibly large horns. These are perfect up here in the front. Really great shaping. And then, of course, you've got these cutters up here in the front that are super aggressive, and they are connected to the back wheels. So we'll take a look at that in a second. You can see that the hubcaps or the wheel covers have all these spiky things going on with them, which is terrific for defense and offense. I like this Technic panel here just to kind of create this shaping. There is a lot of Technic in this. I wouldn't call it a Technic build because the outer skin is pretty much finished in normal bricks. That's kind of my litmus test for if something is a Technic build or not, is whether or not the outer skin is brick or Technic. Around the back, of course, you can see there's a trailer hitch right there. Let's see if we can get a closer look. A little bit of a trailer hitch and mud flaps. Look at that. It's a big old couple of big old mud flaps there. That's kind of cool. And it has all this supportive bracing that runs along the fenders. I think that's pretty smart. Tracks, I guess you could think of these as recovery tracks. We've got an antenna right here too. Something that's sort of left over from the alternate build is this, it looks like a rod to hold up that hatch. But because the hatch is not there, the rod doesn't do anything. So let's stop real quick. I'll show you some of the other parts that it came with for the alternate build, right? So this is, I think, the alternate back hatch. So it goes in there, I believe. And then this is the alternate front. And then there is this piece. I'm not sure what this, I think maybe this goes on the back hatch as well. Yeah, so there's different things that you can put on here. And then, of course, got a bunch of leftover spare parts. So let's look at the underside real quick. So you'll see lots and lots of Technic construction, right? It's primarily Technic, as a matter of fact. And this back wheel, when you move it, it is connected to this axle, and then this axle actually drives those cutters in the front. And it's fairly smooth, so I'm looking forward to trying to motorize that and see what happens. The other thing is that Devin pointed out that the front wheels had a lot of play in them. It was so bad that you couldn't move the vehicle frontward or backwards because the play was so bad. So essentially they towed in way too much, either forward or backwards. They were towing and coming together way too much. So I fixed that by adding a 1x2 brick. So I'll put an image of kind of what I did and where I put it in case you're running into the same problem. And that helped quite a bit. But I think the engineering there was a little strange, or maybe they forgot to tell you how to make it more stable for the static version, and so maybe that's what happened there. Oh, of course, the tires, the wheels do move, so you saw that. They go back and forth, and they're connected into the cab here with that gear that you saw. And so I think that's where you would potentially put a servo if you wanted to add steering to it. All right, so let's motorize this and see what happens. Okay, so I just added a motor back here. So that's the motor connected to this axle, and it had a provision ready to go for that motor, so that was handy. I had to take this off in order to get there. I'm not doing the full remote control because I don't have that the amount of parts necessary for full remote control, but I was able to at least put power to that rear axle and that motor. I've got it hooked up to my regulator. Let's see what happens. So it is moving, and this is the smallest motor that you can get. Oh, it's having some trouble in reverse. Like, it's struggling. Let's see if we can help it a little bit. Yeah, it's struggling. It's a lot of weight. There we go. Okay, let's try bench testing the cutters. So I'm going to, that's reverse, that's forward. There we go, full speed. So you see the cutters are going. Let's zoom in there. So that, my friends, is pretty dangerous. If that's in your rearview mirror, I'd say get out of the way. Here is a minifigure for scale, so you can kind of see how big this vehicle is. Final thoughts, would I recommend it? Yes, if you're a tinkerer and you're okay with tinkering and making some adjustments, because you may find ways to improve on it. And if you're somebody who loves to just build models and not have to think about that stuff, and you want everything sort of taken care of for you, and you want something that is robust, you could play with right away, then maybe you wouldn't enjoy this as much. I do like the fact that it has an alternate build, and you could build a standard Hummer if you want to too. It's a pretty good value considering you can do two different vehicles. And the modification from this version to the Hummer version is not a lot of work. You don't have to tear it down a lot. They thought about that, so there are things that you can fairly easily remove and then get to the other version. So I think that is a helpful feature. All right, so there you go. That's my look at this. Like the video if you like it, hit subscribe. I'll be able to keep sharing interesting sets like this. Thanks so much.